All right, so I did a YouTube search on Karen Horney, specifically her self-analysis theory, and I found an interesting video by Dr. Neil, professor at the Graduate Theological Foundation. And Dr. Neil discusses how Horney was ahead of her time and kind of challenged many of the male personality theorists, and they mainly focused on childhood and had more of a pessimistic view compared to Horney. She did look into childhood as well, and she did acknowledge a lot of like the attachment and stuff like that that did happen during childhood, but she more so focused on the adult aspect of it as well. She looked at the mature adult and how we can move forward and grow in adulthood, which is a lot more optimistic. Anyway, her theory on self-analysis and therapy that around the concept of self-analysis is actually kind of really interesting to me. She believes that the personality is developed through our relationship with others, as well as the conflicts that arise therein. Dr. Neil discusses more on the topic and demonstrates how Horney believes that conflict arises within ourselves from the battle that we fight with our ideal self and how we our ideal self and our real self. And it's kind of like the hatred gap, or self-hatred gap that kind of forms between who we are and who we wish we were. And there's kind of three different ones that Dr. Neil mentions in her video. And back then they kind of focused a lot on neurosis. So Dr. Neil explains, okay, so there's compliant neurotics. They see themselves as good and saintly. Aggressive neurotics who see themselves as strong and heroic, and detached neurotics who see themselves as wise and self-sufficient. And so basically how you view your ideal self is based around those three subtypes of neurotics. And what I really liked about her theory, and Dr. Neil discusses it, is that with self-analysis, it's not about finding an issue and finding a way to correct it, but rather realizing who we really are as people, and therefore opening ourselves up to growth from that versus, like the negative aspect is like, this is bad and we got to change this. So I actually really appreciate that concept. And I also appreciate that it opens up a lot of area for growth in adulthood, as well as, just being honest with yourself from that, from that standpoint. So yeah, I really think that Karen Horney was a great theorist, and as the book mentioned, a lot of her theories have not yet been fully tested, but a lot of her personality ideas are still used today, and a lot of it was in fact ahead of its time, as is mentioned. So that's about it. Thank you.